Welcome to Group X Appeal. Today, we are thrilled to have our very first guest expert. It is Reverend Skip Jennings, Rev Skip, our friend for many, many years. He is not only an expert in the world of health, fitness, spirituality, but he is also the co-host of not only one, but two podcasts, Bliss Happens and Glitz and Glitter. Plus, he is the author of several motivational books, including The Lotus Kitchen, Spiritual Explosion, The Little Book for Big Transformation, and don't miss his new book coming out within the next couple of months called Transform in 10. It's for us.
Us.
Over 50.
5 O's.
Finding transformation in life over 50. He is joining us to explore the power of spiritual well-being.
Yeah, Skip brings a wealth of knowledge and energy to this episode. As you're soon going to see, we'll share 5 inspiring tips to help you connect with your purpose, find inner peace, and live with greater intention. So are you ready to dive deep and elevate your spirit? This is one you won't want to miss.
Hey there, welcome to Group X Appeal. I'm Kimberly Glick.
And I'm Terry Shorter. We're excited to bring you this hot and sweaty podcast.
With over 25 years of experience each in the health and fitness industry, we're here to share hilarious, heartwarming stories from our lives and careers.
And offer practical nutrition tips, expert exercise advice, and strategies for holistic well-being and a positive mindset.
Group X Appeal is your go-to source for inspiration, motivation, and a few laughs along the way.
So tune in and let us help you be the healthiest, happiest version of you.
Welcome to Group X Appeal, Terry Shorter and
Kimberly Glick.
guess what? We have the most phenomenal person online with you today in this episode of Group X Appeal, and he's going to be covering spiritual well-being. We've got Reverend Skip Jennings in the house. We go way back in time.
Way back. Like further than the way back of the station wagons of the 80s.
It's around that same period, actually.
Wow.
So how long has it been? We've got Skip Jennings in the house. Say hi, Skip.
What's up, everybody? It's way back. I mean, way back where we don't even say the year anymore. We just go back in the day.
We don't talk about these things.
Back in the day, So, hey, it's an honor to be here. I'm grateful, and I'm excited about your podcast. Huge fan already.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're excited about all the projects that you have led and you're continuing to lead and how you're transforming people's lives one at a time. And we're just so happy that you've said yes to be our very first guest on Group X Appeal. And it couldn't come at a better time, Skip. So thank you.
Yeah. And honestly, just in full disclosure, when Terry and I were talking about, because we are covering what we call
the Sexy Six.
What Terry has affectionately called the Sexy Six, which he says better than me, so I just leave that to him. But there is, of course, spiritual well-being.
Yes.
And as we talked about jumping on to do a podcast about that, for both of us, the one name that popped up that just had to be a part of this conversation was Reverend Skip Jennings. It is you.
Thank you.
You have been such a beacon in this space.
We've had many conversations, myself and Kimberly. I believe one year we're at IDEA. We're at what was the IDEA Yoga Convention? It was like a part of IDEA. Was it Inner IDEA or something? And we're having this conversation about, and this is, I'd say maybe 15 years ago, talking about the evolution of fitness has to become more of an expansive experience in consciousness, because you can't change the body without changing what's happening inside and what you think. So this is great to see this evolution.
Yeah, so necessary.
So he just went 15 years with you, right?
Yeah, and that was not,
but Terry,
that's not when we met.
Listen, Terry, you were there too. Remember those boxing classes, 24-hour fitness? Lisa Viejo, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
You just aged. So, going back in time, we weren't supposed to say it. 1999 is when I first had the pleasure of meeting Skip, one of my very first body pump classes where you co-taught with Donna Myers. And
you talk a lot about that year. Sometimes you like to party like
it's 1999. So that's where I had the pleasure of meeting you for the first time. It was truly inspired seeing you shine, seeing the banter between you and Donna up there, and getting everybody fit, getting everybody just energized. And so that was my first exposure to you. So it was a while back.
And it was 3 years later for me when I met you at my first fitness conference. 2002.
Wow.
How about
Okay. We got some dates under.
that? So now we have aged ourselves. It's official.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
All right, shall we dive in?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do this.
All right, so before we get into, we have questions for you because we like to share some structure. We want to offer 5 concepts, ideas, but before we dive into the 5 awesome questions that Terry has put together for you, can you define in your words what is spiritual well-being?
Well, I have another term. It's the same exact thing, just a little bit different from me. It's a term I use called spiritual wellness. And spiritual wellness is being well. And sometimes we think about wellness as we're trying to move away from a dis-ease that shows up in our thinking, in our body temples, in our relationships, our emotions. We can have a dis-ease in our homes, our finances. So wellness is not just moving away from a dis-ease. It is putting together practices that will bring on your well-being, like the word you use. So in this idea of spiritual wellness or well-being, we look at the practices that tap into spirituality. And before we talk about that, we got to talk about what is spirituality. Because a lot of people go, I'm spiritual, but do you really know what you're saying here? Spirituality, different from religion. Religion gives you rules and regulations that will take you to hopefully a place in the near future, heaven, some people call it. But spirituality is connecting with who you are in your spirit right here and right now. Spirituality is believing that there is more than this physical incarnation, that we're connected to a higher source. And what you call that source, it's up to you. So some people call it God, I do. Some people call it universe, Gaia, Mother Nature, divine, intelligence, so many different words. And one of the things that I work with clients, we have to get your meaning of spirituality, your meaning of this divine energy that you're connected with. So we get to create practices that will elevate our spiritual wellness or well-being. One of the practices that changed my life was meditation. And when we get into meditation, there are so many forms of meditation. Some people think it's the guru sitting on the peak of a mountain going Om. That's only one part of it. But if you're mindful with how you walk, mindful how you lift those weights, how you get on the cycle bike, we set our intention, we breathe through it. And one of the things that people say to me, I still teach spinning and I love it, or whatever, indoor cycling. People go, wow, that just felt like church. It was, baby. Because we're connecting with love.
Right.
The energy that you're looking to experience, you might know it or you might not know it, but you're looking to connect with your higher self, which is love. And that is the practice for me of spiritual well-being, spiritual wellness. And then, of course, there are other aspects of prayer. Of course, there is your affirmations, speaking affirmations. And one of the things that I've been studying is the power of the word, the power of the language and the word. That people use that mantra, I am, sometimes in a positive way or a negative way. Sometimes they walk into a group fitness class and the first thing they look at me, well, I'm tired. And the universe says, yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're tired.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sick. Yes, you are. Because the universe only answers in yes. Yes, not now, something better. So when we say I am, what are you putting behind that? A conscious, mindful experience of the I am mantra. I am powerful. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am prosperous. This is all part of the spiritual wellness journey.
It's beautiful.
Love it. And so speaking of the journey, Skip, if you can share your own personal journey, because again, when we first met, it was in the group exercise room.
Right, of course.
Right?
Because
was.
Quebec has appeal.
That does have a lot of appeal. So for you, if you can share your own personal journey into spiritual
Sure.
well-being and how it's really influenced your work in wellness and fitness, more specifically, that would be fantastic. We'd love to hear that.
So when I was living in New York City, and this was in '96, I knew I was going to make a shift, And I received diagnosis of HIV, and I realized, okay, I have a choice. I'm either going to allow myself just to dissipate, die, and just live the fast lane, or I'm going to shift my life and have the most impactful, most effective life that I could have. And in meditation, in the yoga class, I heard, you're moving to California. And so I left New York City in, I think, 97, landed in California. I joined 24-Hour Fitness. I began taking classes where I met Donna Myers in her step class. I started in the back row, got to the front row, and she goes, you need to be a teacher. And I went, okay. Because I felt it in myself. At that time, I was in marketing and advertisement. And it just wasn't filling my soul. And I had so much fun with group exercise. And this was the day that we were still calling it aerobics. Those days,
Right.
Oh,
we
I
still
remember.
called it aerobic.
I still have my leg warmers.
And your headband too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know
And
it.
part,
Made
so
out of
part
terry
of it-
cloth.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness. So part of the,
I'm
that
trying to get him to put a
experience-
unitard on, but he won't do it.
It's happening.
Are you really? I want to be on that episode. So anyway, I personally felt like, okay, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. It started off in group fitness, aerobics. I got my personal training certification. Started working for 24-Hour Fitness full time. It became a group exercise manager for Lisa Viejo, and my whole life changed from there. And I felt, okay, this is beautiful, but there's still something more. And I knew that I wanted to do some type of ministry. At the time, I was going to an Episcopalian church, St. George's, and I was in discernment becoming a priest. And then my best friend, my then best friend, he said, have you ever gone to Agape International Spiritual? I said, I've heard of it, but no, I've never gone. So he says, okay, next Sunday we're going to Agape. And this is 20 years ago. Walked through the door. I felt so much energy, vibration, and love. I could not explain what I was feeling, but I knew my heart knew. And I said, I need to be here. I need to study what this is. And I realized throughout this journey of becoming a practitioner, a licensed spiritual counselor through Agape, now an ordained minister, building this whole idea of helping people to understand tapping into spirit within, there is a connection there. We were doing the same thing in our yoga classes as Reverend Michael was doing on a Sunday. And I went, okay, here's the connection. There is no
connection.
separation.
There's the
It is
bridge.
mind, body, mind, body, spirit. And I come from a school that our spirit is absolutely perfect and divine. Our true nature is spiritual. It is so beautiful. So what must we do? Align our thinking and our body to support our spirit. So the alignment of this energy you're feeling inside can now be generated to shift your body, to shift your thinking, to manifest the life that you truly want. And that's how it all
all
came
connected,
to this
right?
journey here. Yeah, it's all connected. It is all connected.
I love it.
Love it.
So next question for you. Obviously, we know how busy people can be. How might you recommend someone integrate spiritual practices into their daily routine? What are some things they can do?
So I believe the biggest, I would say, what people say why they can't is time. And
Time,
they don't know how. So if we look at we don't know how, your first thing is we want to begin to study spirituality. It could be from a book, and I don't have time to list all the books that have changed my life, but I think one of my first spiritual books was A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, A Course in Miracles.
One of my favorites.
Michael Beckwith, Visioning and Spirit, what is it? It'll come to me in a moment. But I just began to read, I began to study, and I began to make time for my spirituality and my spiritual practices, like I was
You mean
brushing
schedule
my
it?
teeth.
Put it on a schedule?
Schedule. You got to schedule it.
Yep.
It's like, would you leave out of the house without brushing your teeth? And I know some of us have, but you don't make that a practice. Why would you leave your house without meditating or taking a breath and setting an intention? And I think one of our favorite people that we love, Kimberly and I, and probably you too, is Wayne Dyer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Wayne Dyer,
Absolutely.
The Power of Intention, says this, that, you know, we have to look at intention, not something we intend to do, but the energy we use to manifest the life that we want. So he has the 7 phases of intention, which is, you know, love, creativity, beauty, expansion, abundance. So we get to look at what is the energy that we're going to use to manifest the life that we want for this day. So it could be as simple as sitting down, breathing, and say, today I'm going to tap into love. And I'm going to be the bringer of love no matter what I'm doing, and I'm going to receive love. That's your meditation and your prayer all wrapped up in one, less than 30 seconds. So it's really... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say nobody has any excuses as to not having the time with that strategy.
Yeah.
Seriously, and remember, for me in the universe, and when I've learned the universe, there is no time in the universe. Time is a human construct that we've created.
Man-made. Yep.
It's man-made.
Yep.
And so if we look at this as if we created this whole linear experience, a good meditation is 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. No. Because in the universe, it's infinite time. It's so whatever you do, it's about your earnestness. It's about you setting the desire to wake up to your true nature. And so when we set an intention, we're actually saying, I'm going to set into this energy so I can manifest my life.
And Skip, wouldn't you agree that, because often we'll hear both for things like spiritual practices as well as physical fitness practices, we hear that constantly, I don't have the time. But especially when I think of spiritual wellness, wouldn't you agree that when people realize the benefit, how it hones our focus and brings our energy into a new place and expands our bandwidth, it's almost like, well, if you're busy, how can you afford not
to do it?
To do it, right?
Yeah.
As your life gets bigger, your spiritual practices should be
It's more important.
bigger. I have a saying with clients who have these huge to-do lists. Instead of saying a to-do list, how about we call it a God list? Because your to-do list will be, I got to check this off, I got to check this off, I got to check this off. But a God list says, what am I here to do right now? Because we are all busy. We're all busy. But if we tap into our spirit within, we ask, what is mine to do in this moment? Now listen, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you got to get to work, that is yours to do right now. But when you're there, there are many tasks. What is yours to do in that moment? And can you be present for what you're doing in that moment? Multitasking is it's a counterproductive thing. People think, oh, I'm multitasking, I'm doing no. Can you be present? Because you cannot be present for 4 or 5 things at once. So can you be present for your yoga class? Or are you thinking about your grocery list? Can you be present for the time that you're focusing on your breath? Or are you thinking about the phone call you just had? Being present in the now moment is a practice. So this is the journey that we're learning. This is a journey that we are called to really recognize where is the power to change our life and transform our life in the present moment. In the present moment. I love what RuPaul says, if you have 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future, you're pissing on the present.
On the present.
True.
Yeah.
You're pissing on the present.
True.
That's amazing.
Thank you,
You know, you just
Oracle
answered our
RuPaul.
next question, Skip.
I know,
No, thank you, Ru.
The wise RuPaul, yeah.
The sage.
Right.
So, you know, you just answered our next question, which was, you know, about how you believe spiritual well-being contributes to physical and mental health, and you just answered it by by practicing a presence practice, being present, especially nowadays. I think that's a really important message because we have so many distractions. And yeah, a lot of people take pride in multitasking rather than being in the moment. Because yeah, it is impossible to be in 4 different places at one time and give it your absolute 100%. So are there any other ways that you believe spiritual well-being contributes to mental health, especially nowadays in this country and around the world with all the noise, all the distractions?
You know, part of this, and I'm truly, truly, truly living, I want to say testimony to shifting my thinking, because we're inundated with CNN, constantly negative news. That's what CNN stands for.
24/7.
Constantly negative news.
Yeah, negative news.
And we're inundated by our social media, by the TV, by what our friends tell us,
Emails.
by what we hear, what we read. It's everywhere. And so when there's not a balance, it causes a dis-ease in our thinking and our emotions and our feelings. And so as we continue to put our energy into the negative news, where your attention goes, the energy grows. So we have to learn to balance out this intake of negative stuff that we're bringing to our minds. We have to do the polar. I don't believe in duality, because duality says right, wrong, bad, good. Polarity says they're a higher vibration, they're a lower vibration, but it's still all in the energy of the universe. We must choose higher. We have to take on to the practices that will get us out of the spiral, because I don't know about you, I feel like we've been in a downward spiral since 2016. I felt this energy.
I wonder why that you're significant.
Yeah. But here's the good thing, and why I'm so grateful for it. Because it shows us the face of this world. We have been seeing and experiencing
100%.
this heightened experience of separation through racism, homophobia, through transphobia, sexism, misogynism. We've seen it. In the Hindu teaching, it tells us, do not be deceived by your lying eyes. So we look at each other from the outside, we say, you're different than I am, you're black, you're white, da, 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 da. So we are really fixating on the ego, the egoic view of life, where we are being more and more separating. So this is the healing. We have to go beyond of what we see, it has to go beyond who you voted for, have to go beyond of how you worship, who you love, and we have to see what is our true nature. Our true nature is spirit, it's love. So I believe that this work that we're doing not only is for us to shift in our own dis-ease, but it's going to radiate into the world, into the planet, into our existence. And not just in America, because some people are very, very deceived that this only affects us in America. This thing that we're experiencing right now, it's being felt all over the world. And I truly believe that this is a shift that we are looking to have. And an Oracle friend of mine told me years ago, this is going to get worse before it gets better. But what appears to be worse or to be lower vibrational is going to lead us to the evolution to what we're really looking to experience. So we have to go through this so we can get to where we want to be.
Right. I like that outlook.
So far, I'm making a God list.
Okay.
I am not going to piss on the present.
Don't piss on the present.
Don't
There
piss
you
on the
go.
present. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And I am going to every day remind myself that it's not good or bad, it's vibration. And we seek
Vibration.
higher vibration. Yeah.
Also known as
Is it-
love.
Yeah, love. That's the highest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
appreciation, being able to live in a state of appreciation. They're like side by side.
I was just going to say, part of the spiritual community I'm working with right now, North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, and we've been talking about this idea of one of our principles and one of our principles that we live by in New Thought is that we're all created from an infinite source, that there is no separation from this source or from each other. Now, listeners, here we go. We are one with everything. thing. We are one with the politicians. We're one with the candidate that might have won that you might not have voted for, or the one that you did vote for. You are one with that person. Now listen, it does not say that we get down, but they get down on how people are bringing this energy to the planet. But it doesn't negate that we are connected and we are divinely interconnected. What interconnects us, what brings us together is love. It's the divine. But what happens is people forget that, so they work from the ego. And so it continues to separate us. This is why it's so important for us to go back to this principle. We're all one here. And we have to get curious. We have to take time. I need to sit down with you. I know you voted this way and I voted this way, but I'm still your brother. I'm still I'm still your neighbor. So I need to sit down and find out more about your life, not just why you voted that way, but your life. How did you grow up? How, what do you believe? What are your values? And why do you, and not judge, be curious, radically curious.
Yeah. Seek to understand. I used to love that Wayne Dyer would always talk about ego, and he never said ego was bad.
Thing, right.
That, ego is very much a protective mechanism, and it helps us strive and be individually who we're meant to be as extensions of Source. However, if we let the ego drive the bus, then ego then becomes the acronym edging God out, where it has to be a journey where we realize that we are all extensions of Source energy, whether you call it God, divine, universal intelligence, whatever it might be. We're all extensions of that, which does mean, like you said, Skip, we're all interconnected. And the moment we start coming from a place that that's not the case, we are edging God out. We're coming from our ego. Yeah.
It's very
So I have a question for you, Skip. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was going to say it was very interesting to talk about the ego. The ego is a divine purpose to defend, attack, and protect. Now, the issue that we are seeing right now, we're being led by the ego. We're being in this egoic way of living versus being from the heart space. We can be in the head. We can be in the fear, doubt, and worry. And of course, the miracle says that fear and love cannot occupy the same space. We are that space.
That's right.
So we get to recognize when we're in fear, chances are we're being driven by the ego. What am I feeling in this moment here? Am I feeling fear? Am I feeling love? Am I feeling peace? Am I feeling love? Am I feeling, fear, doubt, worry? Or am I feeling wellness, connection? This is why, group fitness, let's bring it back. This is why the fellowship of group fitness is the healer. We come together, we exercise together.
Yeah.
Yep. We laugh, we hug it out, we listen to great music, it's all the good stuff. So, question for you.
Sure.
Let's imagine that a person listening right now has never even thought about the word spirituality. They're brand new to exploring the concept. Now, you have talked a bit about how you define spirituality, but for that person who is hearing about this for the first time in their entire life, what advice would you give them? What initial small steps or practices would you recommend for them to start this journey?
Yeah, I think what's really important about spirituality, and people get it a little twisted, spirituality is not always experiencing the wanted experiences. So we want to be on the pink cloud, we want to be high up, we want to be floating and levitating.
That's a problem.
But spirituality is also recognizing the challenges. The challenges that are here, that's seeking to emerge a greater self. It's becoming stronger. So I believe that we get to look at the spirituality as a way of growth. I believe this, and there's a lot of people who teach, a lot of ministers and teachers that teach us that we are from stars, and it stars, and if you look at our molecules right now, it's from the same substance as stars. We come from stars, we come down to this earth, we're in earth school, we're making this journey, and we're making our way back to the stars. that this cycle can happen
Eventually,
over and over again. And every time you come from the stars, you get to look at life and saying, well, you know what? I'm really excited to go down this route because I'm going to experience unconditional love. Or I'm going to be a teacher of oneness. Or I'm going to be the bringer of joy. Or I'm going to be the lesson for people to tap into more joy. So it's part of seeing your divine purpose. This is about asking these big questions. What is seeking to emerge here? Big spiritual question, why am I here? Existential question, why am I here? And then when we get to spirituality, why am I here? I'm here to share love, to give love, to be a receiver of love. This is why we are here. In some way, someplace we forget that. And our work in the spiritual journey in Earth School is to remember to remember. There's a divine spark of intelligence that lives within us, that we are really working to remember that spark, the love, the intelligence that we are. This is what this reason why we're on this planet. This is why we're doing what we're doing in this iteration of life. So we get to look at this higher calling for what is the purpose of spirituality. It's to wake up. It's to remember. It's to remember and to remember and to remember. This journey that we're on, and look at it in a way that we forget and we wake up. We forget and we wake up. And the more that we're in the spiritual practice, the more or less that we fall asleep. And if we fall asleep, we don't stay sleeping long. We wake up.
For very long.
And part of this talk, people are asking, well, how did this happen with Trump winning? How did this happen with Kamala? Whatever. For me was, I fell asleep. I got really, really comfortable. I was like, oh yeah, we're good. We got this candidate's out now. We're on this journey. I literally fell asleep. I bet you I'm waking up right now again for the work that we're here to do. And it doesn't matter, again, I'm going to say this for your listeners. I don't care who you voted for. It's very clear I voted for Kamala. Right. It's very, very clear because it aligned with my values. I wasn't voting for my pocketbook. My values are love, joy, oneness, equality, freedom for everyone. I am working to bring in a world that works for everyone. There was one candidate that was close to my values. Another candidate felt very, very, I felt marginalized from that view. So from my heart space, I knew I was going to vote for Kamala. So we get to really understand what are our values, what is important to us, and that we can only know by going through a spiritual practice, a life of spirituality.
Beautiful.
Yep. For sure. And this is kind of off topic, but on topic. It's not one of our questions. Some people may think, Skip, that self-love is being selfish. Right? I've been there.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I've been there at one point in my life. So they think that loving self and taking care of self first is being selfish. What is your thought on that when it comes to, your spiritual well-being?
Yeah. Again, let's go to our oracle, our divine diva, our mystic RuPaul. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? So that's the truth. The reason why we talk about self-care and self-love and first is because we want to fill ourselves up. We love from where we are. So if we're depleted, that's the love we are giving. Most of us are walking around, we're in I would say, a codependent kind of love relationships, even with our friends or our family, because we have not learned to love ourselves. Melody Beattie talks about that in The Art of Letting Go. It's that codependency is when you love someone more than you love yourself. Once you love yourself, once you really realize, and I'm talking about divine love. I'm talking about divine love. Once you understand who and what you are, then you're able to fully love someone else. And that is a practice. Some days I'm in it, and some days I'm on the 405. Hello. You know, it's just how it is. I'm like, God bless that person that just cut me off. Bless them, because I can't right now. So but this is the learning practice. It's a practice. We get to learn. I remember Michael Beckwith once said, when I was at Agape, said that if we could really see our true nature, our divine source, we would just fall on our knees and worship. It's that
Instantly.
right. So we have this covering because we can't handle the light. It's like, you want the truth? You can't handle the truth. That's for real. People can't handle the greatness, the brightness of love and light. So this is the journey of why we're here to wake up.
And stop dimming our light.
Stop dimming your light.
And I believe loving yourself is such a huge part of it. I think that, to your point, Skip, if we take the time to get to know who we really are and then make the conscious choice, because it is a choice to love what we find when we do, then the next step that becomes the biggest moment ever is that we're going to be authentically who we are. And I think we could all probably agree that the world would be a better place if more people were just being authentically true to who they are and letting their true light shine. So it's all connected.
It's all connected, and I think one of the greatest principles that we teach in New Thought, which is also called Science of Mind. So if you want to look it up, Science of Mind, New Thought, Church of Religious Science, created by Ernest Holmes, and also evolved and expanded by Michael Beckwith, Iyanla Vanzant, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. You have Eckhart Tolle. You have all these different gurus. Marianne Williamson, all comes from this New Thought expansion. And the teaching is there's only one of us here, y'all. You and me, we're the same. There's only one of us here.
Yeah.
So we have a choice. And I say this at the end of all my podcasts and everything I do when I finish teaching class. Transformation is a choice, and you can choose today. So we have a choice here, y'all. We are at a crossroads, which every road leads to the same place. We're going to wake up one way or another. We're either going to promote unity or we're going to promote separation. It's up to you. It is totally up to you. One of the things of studying this election is understanding the true meaning of partisanship. If we look at the meaning of partisanship, it means to be a part of something, and that's just not it. And to be against something else. So you are a part. And the work in partisanship is to get more people to believe this way so we can control the whole lot. So it's not about bringing people together. It's always been, since the beginning of time, to separate. Understand this. This is the energy that you're working on. It's a lower vibrational energy. The partisanship is about separation. A divine way of life is about coming together. So understand what energy and frequency are you kind of vibrating on? High vibration or lower vibration?
Yeah. Well, it's clear that when we are unified, when we are together, when we're like-minded and like-spirited, that's when we're working at our highest vibration. That's when we're working at our optimum level and feeling the best and experiencing the love and experiencing the bliss, as opposed to separation. So
I'm feeling that love right now in my heart, and it's so funny because I said I'm going to set up right here in front of my window, and now the sun is coming in, and I'm going, I'm getting the light. Can I handle this light here? Yes. So we're going to work with it. I'm going to move around a little bit here. So you can handle the light. You don't ever tell the sun, don't shine so bright today, baby. No, we never. So why do we tell ourselves? We tell ourselves to dim our light so that we can be more acceptable. Yeah, those days are over. Them days are over.
Our deepest fear.
Our deepest fear. Our deepest fear. We are, and this is very, very important, why your podcast is so important, the work we're doing, because our world is looking for answers. They're looking for something greater. They're looking for some more energy. And they're looking to be inspired, because how they've been inspired or motivated is not connecting with people. People are looking for something more. That's why 13 million people did not come out and vote. 13 million people did not come out and vote. More than that.
Yeah.
It's more than that. So understanding that it wasn't enough to get people to get motivated, inspired, because it's a low vibrational energy.
Yeah.
Yep. And you were going to say?
Oh, when we were talking about vibration, and you were saying it really is simple. You know, I've had the conversation trying to explain the idea of vibration with clients and students before, and one had questioned, you know, what's the whole idea with like love being the highest vibration, and how do we know that that's innately what we're supposed to experience and everything? And I said, it's pretty simple. When you are in a situation where you're the presence of love, maybe you're being kind to someone, you're saying a kind word, you're doing a kind deed, how does it feel?
Yeah.
That's
And the
tell-all.
response is always, it feels wonderful, right? Okay.
Boom.
Now, if you've ever found yourself maybe on the 405, not able to bless someone because they just cut you off, or in a situation where maybe you said an unkind word, or in some way, shape, or form didn't show the ultimate kindness, how did that actually feel in you?
Yeah, and you're
And the
good.
response is always, you know, it doesn't feel so good. That is like our natural guide, our intuitive guide to want to move in the direction of the higher vibration, I think.
And
Simple test.
I heard something, and again, you know, if you say it 5 times, then you said it. But I heard Michael Beckwith. I've only said it 4 times, so I'm still giving him credit. Michael Beckwith recently said this. He said, "We try to intellectualize our spirituality, but we must learn to spiritualize our intellect,
Our
because we're
intellect.
trying to think this out, y'all. And really, what we're here to do is to feel this." To breathe
Feel.
to this, to feel it. That's how we know something's good. That's how this is why our emotions are emotions. They are emotion. They're motion. They will let you know you're moving in the right
Moving
direction
us.
or you're not moving in the right direction. The feeling is key. Energy, vibration is key.
Yeah.
Love it. And so, last question for you, Skip, and we might come up with more. I don't
No,
know.
it might happen. Or we'll just
It's all
chit chat.
good.
Right, we'll just chit
It's
chat a
all
little
good.
bit.
It's all good.
So, you know, kind of coming back full circle, going way back, how can group fitness and community environments in general foster a sense of spiritual well-being for their participants? So this would be for the coaches, the instructors,
Sure.
the
Leaders.
the leaders.
So one thing we get to recognize, and it's funny you would ask that, because I was saying this on Sunday service, we are doing the same exact thing that ministers, priests do. Think about this. We are in front of a group of people. We're giving them instruction. We motivate, we inspire, we love. Understand that what we are doing is that we're taking on the mantle of inspiration. Now, I believe there's a difference between motivation and inspiration. Motivation gets you moving, inspired gets you higher in the vibration. So we get to be a chance. We get to choose. Are we going to be motivators, or are we going to be inspirational leaders? So when we understand what we're truly doing, and we understand why our purpose is here, then we take on ownership of that. And as we start to take on ownership of that, we begin to tap into something. We know it as the law of attraction, but it now has been actually expanded to the law of radiation. The law of attraction, listen, The Secret got everyone thinking about spirituality. Great. Love The Secret. It will always be probably one of my favorite spiritual films of all time. The thing with the law of attraction is, well, if you just think about it and you sit there, it'll come to you. Okay, that's cool. But let me tell you something. If you have an intention, your intention
Action.
requires an action. You have to get into action to manifest the life that you want. The law of radiance says that what we radiate out into the world, we are a frequency, we become more, we get more of it. So think about this.
Okay.
Everything's frequency, everything's a vibration. What you are radiating out into the world is what you're going to become a magnet for. So we get to understand that when we start to radiate, oh, I'm a spiritual leader, or I am a coach, or I am this or that, we radiate out there, our students will come. Our congregation will come. people will find us. So if you are, and it's very interesting coming back from Florida, and before I left, classes are full. Well, actually, that's not true because we went into the pandemic. I left in the middle of the pandemic. But before the pandemic, all my classes were full, cycling classes, everything. You know, I'm teaching main studio, but coming back, and there's a whole shift in our clientele now where I teach. So no one knows who I am. No one knows who I'm really. They kind of heard, oh, this guy's coming back. Da, 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 da. So I get up in front, and I've been teaching to one person, two people. Yesterday we had 10 people in class. It's starting to grow. But I look at each and every opportunity, no matter who's in there, one person, whatever, I'm here to motivate that one person. And of course, it's going to grow. If your intention is earnest and you're devoted to changing lives, people are going to find you. People are going to find you. So all y'all who are taking on the mantle of spiritual leader, I'm going to call you what you are. You are spiritual cheerleaders, spiritual leaders. Just know your purpose. Know why you're here, because this world needs you. This world needs us.
Yeah.
Love that. Your intention is earnest. We can feel it. We appreciate it.
Most definitely.
Right?
Yeah. Couldn't have imagined having this conversation with anyone else.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
We were spot on. We got this one right.
Well, we've been doing it for years. We've been doing this talk conversation for years, and now it's manifesting. So thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Talk about it
This is
enough.
amazing.
And things happen.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Well, we are so grateful, Skip, that you again took the time out of your schedule, because we know how busy you are between authoring books and speaking and coaching and teaching and what else, running a couple podcasts. We feel absolutely privileged and blessed that you joined us on Group X Appeal today.
Can I ask one more thing? Before we part ways, could you tell us just...
We're going
Go
back
ahead.
and forth. I want to say one thing.
got
People
a
always
delay.
ask me,
No, you go.
You go. People say to me all the time, or they ask me, well, what do you do? And I go, what time of day are we talking about? what time of day?
Right.
You know, the mini ads. Kimberly, what was your question?
I would just love to get a little bit more from you with regards to the new book coming out. Would you tell us a little bit more about what Transform in 10 is?
Yeah, Transform in 10 Steps for Thriving at 50 and Beyond. And this year, I'm proud to say I'm turned 60 this year. And that,
No, that's still a lie. I don't believe him. Do you believe him?
But the great thing is that we get to say, listen, when you turn 50, your life is just beginning. It's just it's a beautiful experience to understand, but there are different ways we approach our fitness, our eating, our meditation, our spirituality, setting goals. What do we do to continue to keep that youthful feeling? I talk about this as I still go to music festivals. I love dancing. I love going to music festivals. I love being out there and just enjoying being out in the field. In the summertime, I'm at a music festival. That keeps me young. That keeps me like, oh, I'm feeling this energy. Everything's a frequency. Everything's an energy. Or how do we now look at our goals and intention? What is it shifted? Do you still have these old, goals that no longer serve you? Can we release those old ideas of like getting into your skinny jeans? Listen, my skinny jeans has got a little bit bigger. Not much. I gotta say that. I still got my, but do I even want to wear skinny jeans anymore? So we need to talk about maybe having a new thought around what it means to move into this next chapter in your life. So I give 10 steps. I give you meditations, affirmations. I give a lot of my own journey. I talk about, things in my own life that it shifted, that need to shift. Listen, I never saw a chicken wing I didn't love. And when I go home and soul food is like my mama, family, we love soul food. Soul food don't always love me. So I had to shift the eating practices. And, we get this term because it reminds us of the comfort of home. But if that's all we eat is soul food, then our soul's not really truly being fed. So I began to shift, and I talk a little bit about that. So it's about my journey in turning 60, and I want to just inspire people. Hey, got 10 easy steps for you to keep moving through. It's a very small book, but it's not about the size, right?
Right.
Size doesn't matter, Steve.
Oh my! Oh.
Are we talking about pinkies? Are we talking about pinkies?
We're talking about my pinky.
Yeah.
In my ears. I have strangely small pinkies and ears, so he's now
There
making
you
fun of
go.
me.
No, I'm not making
Oh
fun.
my goodness.
Observation.
I love it.
Reminder.
I love it.
But in all seriousness, so we just both turned 50 last year.
Nope.
Me first,
Okay.
sadly. But so we're entering into that phase, like
Yeah.
as we speak. We turned 51 this year, but we're moving into this chapter as you talk about. Once you
Yeah.
turn 50, you're moving into this next chapter. So I can't wait to.
I want to get my
the
Transform in
book.
10. Where can we get Transform in 10, Skip?
And
Where and
just
when?
follow me on social media. It'll be out there. If you follow me on all the socials, it's Rev Skip Jennings on all the social. On Instagram, TikTok. I'm ticking. I said, back now, I'm never going on TikTok. I'm ticking and I'm talking. So I get the chance.
There you
to,
go. Don't stop ticking.
to
Don't
sh-
stop talking.
Yes, I get to share spirituality through social media. So stick with me. Go to my website, skipjennings.com. I have a t-shirt line. It's called The Awake Shop, and you can grab some t-shirts. And also, if I may, not a shameless plug, but I believe in celebrating what I do. I'm a part of an app called Insight Timer. And I've been on Insight Timer since
yes,
the
you are.
induction of Insight Timer. I have over 75 meditations that you can tap into every aspect. The last 4
I have.
meditations, if you go, you can see we did a whole wellness month. I did a whole month focusing on wellness. So we did 4 meditations. The first week is wellness, shifting your thinking. Second one is getting in moving, a meditation around moving. The third one was the mindful eating practice. I call it mindful eating because there's 2 words in diet, die and it. I ain't dying. I'm
Die.
moving into more
Yeah.
of a mindful eating practice. And the last one was self-care. And the reason why we have learned how to go hard. We have learned to go hard into our exercises,
For years.
even our yoga practice. And now how do we begin to take care of ourselves now, especially at the age of 50? I remember my my yoga teacher trainer, one of my teacher trainers in yoga said to me, Cleo said, one day you're going to have to give back those, you don't need borrowing these yoga poses, these arm stands and these handstands you're doing, you're only borrowing them. One day you'll have to give them back. And you say, thank you for allowing me to do
Right.
my forearm headstand. Thank you so much for allowing me. It's not my practice right now, and it's okay. Can you be okay with that?
Yeah.
So most of this is releasing those old attachments to what we think the outcome of our fitness and wellness should be. And it's about, okay, let's get a new vision. What does it look like now? So you'll follow me on social media. You'll see it. It'll be out.
Love
Fantastic.
it. We cannot wait to celebrate, more accomplishments of yours.
Thank you. Thank you,
Most
y'all.
definitely.
Congratulations again on your incredible podcast, which is so needed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So again, you can follow Skip Jennings everywhere, even TikTok.
Everywhere.
He's ticking, he's talking.
I'm sick of it.
Talking.
Can you imagine?
Rev Skip Jennings, yes?
There you go. Yes,
Love
that's it.
Love it. And do make sure that you get his book that's coming out. You'll find it everywhere through connecting with him on all the platforms, Transform in 10. We're going to get our copy because I need those
yeah.
10 tips, those 10 strategies.
All 10. I want all 10.
Yep.
Yes,
We would
please.
love that. We would love that.
Yes.
We would love that.
Yes, please. Oh my gosh. Oh, Thank you so, so much for jumping on with us today. It's just the most wonderful conversation to get to have with you.
Our first.
To reconnect. Yes, our first. Our first. He makes fun of me sometimes when I get super excited and I do funny things with my hand, but I'm just like, but I'm so excited that we got to have you on as our first expert guest, because you are not only an expert and well-versed in what it is that you know, but you are just one of the most spectacular human beings on the planet. So thank you for shining your light so brightly.
Thank you for sharing your heart.
Yes. Really matters a lot.
For sure. And if, let us know as a listener, let us know what you love most about this episode featuring Reverend Skip Jennings. And we hope that you got some really great strategies like we did. Just the practices, the presence practice to everything.
The God list.
The God list, yes.
The vibration.
Yeah, I was calling it a to-do list, and I'm changing that in my notes.
God list.
Absolutely. So we're learning here too, and please let us know where you listen to your podcast, what platform you listen to. If you watch us on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment. You can follow us as well on Instagram, Group X Appeal, both Kimberly and myself. Yep. And anything else you wanted to share before we wrap?
No, just definitely share this episode as well.
Yeah.
If you know someone who either is looking for more information and more strategies in the realm of spiritual well-being, this is going to be a great listen for them. So share as well as follow us and download. We just hit 500 downloads this past week, by the way. So huge thank you for those who have downloaded. We're so excited. Yeah,
for sure. Thank you.
So keep going. We appreciate the support and the connection.
It means the world to us.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, and as always, we wish you to have the most amazing day. And why?
Because it is an amazing day to have.
Thank you so much again, Skip Jennings. Make it a brilliant day. Peace out. Much love.
Much love.